On today's show, we look back at the last year of rock music and talk about some of our favorite tracks of 2024. Why not do this before the end of the year? We'll tell you today as we get into our favorites, best ofs, 2024 on Six Picks Music Club. Welcome to Six Picks Music Club, a music podcast for people who need other people to tell them what they like. Hey listener, welcome to a brand new episode of Six Picks Music Club, the music podcast where each episode we have a theme that we pick 6 songs for. Thanks for being part of the show, and a special shout out to our top pick listeners who make Six Picks their number one podcast and listen to each and every new episode every other Wednesday. We're also on your friend's favorite podcast. We're also on your friend's favorite podcast. Fuck me. Help us grow the show by sharing it with your friends. And do all the other things like subscribe wherever you get podcasts and hit the 5-star review. We've still got some Instagram reels, so check them out too. Golly, what an intro. I'm Dave, and with me are 2 dudes who each year are getting closer to that colonoscopy, Russ and Geoff. Thanks for struggling through that with me, dudes. How y'all doing?
Dude, I swear, at the exact moment that you fucked that intro up, I was going, dude, I love the new intro. Dave is killing it in season 2. Like, I had that thought at the exact moment. It was like it transmitted from my head and went through the computer and hit you right in your mouth hole, and then you forgot how to talk. Yeah, you just like at that exact moment. I was like, well, now I can't compliment it.
But he did say something like pad thai in there, so we're talking about Thai food, which is awesome.
Everybody loves Thai food.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Thai food?
You know, when my wife was pregnant with our second, the baby just was not coming. He like 42 weeks or something, and somebody told her, some acupuncturist I think said, you need to eat slippery food. I shit you not. So we went to this Thai restaurant, and eggplant, I guess, is apparently slippery food. She had this eggplant Thai dish, and her water broke in the restaurant.
Oh, no.
I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And then sure enough, she's like, my water broke. I'm like, okay, well, maybe it is a real thing. So if you ever need to get that baby out, you want to eat some slippery food.
Well, hot damn, boys. It is cold as balls. I'm freezing my nuts off out here. Let's get into the clubhouse. Is there a password? Do we have a password?
The penis on the bus goes up and down.
All right, well, let's get in there. Come on, listener. Get in there, too. Let's fucking go.
For New Year's, wife and I packed up the 3 kids and we drove to West Orange, New Jersey to hang out with high school best friend and his brother, both of whom have kids. And then they were going to have a New Year's party that were only more parents with kids. So in the end, we had 16 adults and like 24 children from ages 3 to 9. Okay.
Nice.
Which was fucking insane.
Feels like you guys did not plan that very well.
No, I was the plan the whole time. So what we did was we partied upstairs and we sent all those children into the basement and kind of just like shut the door and let it ride.
Okay.
And it was exactly what you might think would happen in that scenario, which was it turned into like, there was definitely stuff that was Lord of the Flies, like, my team's going to be called, we're going to kick your butts off. Like, that was something I heard when I poked my head in. I was like, oh shit, like they're having a war. And then I went down and it was like Motley Crue's hotel room. Like it was just like they shredded everything. They were dumping like googly eyes out of a box of googly eyes all over the floor and like glitter. And it was just like a real melee. But the funniest thing about it was like in one little part of the floor, one kid, and we don't know who, had crushed up sidewalk chalk. Like, so had taken it and systematically crushed it somehow.
Okay.
And then cut it into lines. So it was lines. It looked like lines of Coke. And I looked at my buddy Paul and I was like, dude, these kids are partying harder than we fucking are partying up here, man. Like,
Funny.
we've lost it, you know? Like, they're down here just snorting sidewalk chalk. Thing that happened the next day is we had a real in life Creed sighting, not the band Creed, but we went to like a pub that is open to having tons of children in it. In fact, that's like their brand. They're like, bring your kids, drink some beers, you know, maybe we'll overserve you, drive fast, take chances.
What was the name of the bar? Population Control?
Yeah. I don't know if that was that be a good name for a bar? I kind of like it.
Dewey's Drive-Thru.
Dewey's Drive-Thru?
Yeah. DWI, a Dewey. You never heard that?
Dewey. Yeah, I have only heard about it because of how much you talked about the one that you got.
Burn.
Yeah, we go to this pub and there's a guy that's just singer-songwriter in there. We're trying to get hot dogs for our kids and everything. And he's kind of singing like, it's a little stomp clap chord, but it's just one guy with a guitar. So he's kind of like, I will wait for you, like ching, 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 like that kind of stuff. And then he goes into just acoustic guitar, fucking solo mic, goes into Take Me Higher.
With the
by
arms
Creed.
wide open.
Yeah, no, it was like, can you take me higher? He did that song with like a little, with a little noodle and that ding, 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 ding. And it was like too mic'd up and too loud for the space. And he had this kind of, he every song he put through the trainerizer, like he would make it, whatever the song was, he'd make it sound like a train song. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like where it's just like, just had that kind of like the exact same sound. You know when
Like the band train?
The band train. Sorry, yes. It would just sound like the band train. Like every song, like he would take a Cream song and he would make it sound
Virginia.
like Train. Yeah. They would say doing White Room by Cream, but it sounds like Meet Virginia by Train. Like every single fucking song. And so he, it's kind of like when they get like breathy women to do covers of songs for TV commercials and they always sound the same. They like slow them down real slow and they're like, like he was doing
I just saw
that.
something where they were doing a Nirvana song just like that at the end of a movie or a show or something.
Yeah. So all of his songs are going through the trainerizer. We were just dumbfounded because it was like, when do you get somebody that is earnestly playing a Creed song?
I do like the idea of the kids all just being downstairs while the adults are having fun. Did you guys have to clean up the next day? Was it just a disaster or that night? Or
Dude, we're such parents that we cleaned up that night. Like we did so that we could all like by the time that the ball dropped, we were all in like comfortable clothes, sitting in the living room, like drinking Miller Lights, and the kids were asleep. Like, and that was the most fun part of the party by far.
So like my kids are like, can we stay up till? I was like, there's no fucking way you're staying up till midnight.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So at 6:00 we watched the fireworks in England. I said, you can have a fucking London New Year's. Here you go.
Dude,
and
that's the exact same thing we did with these kids, but we pretended that it was live. Like we're like, it's midnight. And they're like, is it? And we're like, yeah, it's happening. Cause they had kind of existed in timeless space in the basement. They don't have phones or watches.
Like in a casino.
There's no clocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just brought them up and we played video of the Sydney, Australia New Year's from the night before. And it was like beautiful and it looked awesome. Yeah. And they were like,
wow. Dude, the fucking fireworks out at Big Ben, incredible. 10 straight fucking minutes of incredible fireworks.
Really? It was that lights out?
It just didn't stop. It went on for, we checked the time. It was literally 10 minutes. And I thought at 3 minutes it had like was done and it just kept going and kept going, kept going. And then at the final like climax of the fucking fireworks were incredible. incredible.
That's the fireworks equivalent of Sting's tantric sex, you know? Like, is he gonna keep going? Yeah, he is. That's what he does.
But
It's
when
Sting.
he finishes, he also refers to that as the grand finale. So yeah, that's 100%.
Here comes the grand finale.
All right, so this episode is about looking back at last year and sharing some of the gems we found along the way. It's always fun to find new bands or even new tunes from old bands. All the songs we picked for this episode were released in 2024, and most music journalists put their best of end-of-year stuff out before the end of the actual year. So why did we wait until the end of January 2025 to do this? Well, honestly, we already had planned what we were going to do in December, and I wanted Christmas songs more than I wanted a year in review episode. So I'll take the L on that, I guess. But also, this topic was suggested from our listener Gollum, whose email we read last episode. So thank you, Gollum, for the suggestion. And who knows, if you send us an email, we'll definitely read it during the ep and might even take your topic suggestion.
You know, but there's another thing. Like, everybody wants to be first to do something, and then it makes them all do it at the same time. So,
right. So
like,
we are the Apple of podcasts, is what you're saying. We don't have to be first. We just have to be best.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Totally.
Well, and maybe we're even the last, and that's just as fine. Why is first?
Yeah. Plus,
so
we're also
great?
not competing with anybody on like best of 2024 lists at this moment.
That's right.
Right.
And people are not feeling like they're like getting Glenn Powelled at the same time with this. So I think we're going to be okay.
Glenn Powelled. I love that as a verb. That's excellent. So, yeah, I mean, I think
He is everywhere. It's out of control.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. I feel like we are blazing a trail here in the world of music journalism that, not everyone is brave enough to do. But anyway, I think it's time we get into the picks of the ep from 2024. Russ, I think you are going to be up first tonight. What is the pick that you've got to share with us?
My first pick tonight is a song called Consume from the band The Warning, off of their 2024 album, Keep Me Fed.
You greedy little fucker, you sink your teeth and leave me yelling for another. You're self-assured, but you keep it undercover. Let's paint it apart and all alone in a garden. You willingly participate. You crack a smile and close your eyes and disassociate. Let me the problem, but you know you're still a part of it. You hate that you're part of it, hate that you're part of it. Watch me, touch me, pull the strings like you do. Love me, hate me. Am I worth it to you? Shovel it down my throat, wash it down with remorse. Make me be perfect for you.
Before we dive into the track, let me tell you about The Warning, because they have kind of a crazy story. You got these three sisters from Monterrey, Mexico, Daniela, Paulina, and Alejandra Villarreal, who started playing together when they were just...
Those are Spanish names that you just looked up in a Spanish textbook. That's not real.
It's not real.
Daniela, first off, and then Alejandra, and then...
Villarreal. That's, totally
They're actually from Monterrey, Mexico, and their names are Daniela, Paulina, and Alejandra Villarreal. And they started playing together when they were just kids. And like when I say kids, I mean like children. Daniela was 10, Paulina was 8, and Alejandra was 6. Okay, so
and their dad was in World War II or whatever. Fucking asshole.
fucking. Oh yeah, all right. So it's going to take me a long time to build your trust. I understand that.
their father discovered tequila in Mexico and it became the national beverage.
Yeah. I know what I'll do. I'll take agave and let it ferment.
There you go. Okay. Yep. I deserve it.
So
I deserve it.
more of your lie. Continue with your lie.
Yeah.
All right. But this is kind of where it gets crazy, right? It gets a little bit wild here. So the girls basically
bet it does.
the girls grow up on they grew up on YouTube, right? So back in 2014, they posted a cover of them playing Enter Sandman, the Metallica song, and it like exploded. They got like millions of views. And the girls were a bit older at this point. They were 14, 12, and 9. And the video was so impressive that it caught Metallica's attention, and then it got them onto the Ellen DeGeneres show, and where they played.
I remember this happenings.
Yeah, they played Crazy Train on Ellen, and then that pretty much is how they got their start. Instead of building their career like in a traditional way, and going out and playing gigs and stuff, they just started using social media to their advantage. And because of like the, viral sensation of that first video, they were able to just keep it running, right? And then the Ellen thing and whatnot. And so they are classically trained musicians that just happen to fall in love with rock and metal. So it's kind of like School of Rock. They came up with their name when they were still kids. It was because their mother used to warn them about being too loud when they were playing. So
it's like a obvious rock band name.
Yeah.
It's a surprise that there hasn't already been the warning, the band, it's impressive that they were able to, they were like the warning. Oh, it's like coming up with the Clash.
Nobody's
obviously.
got that yet. Yeah.
Yeah. How does nobody call the warning yet? Awesome.
It's true.
The stuff I say is true. The stuff you say is fucking made up.
So they've gone from covering Metallica to then they ended up touring with the Foo Fighters and playing major festivals. And while they were still kids, they were doing their homework backstage at shows. Like what I love about them is like how they've stayed true to their roots and while evolving their sound. So they started off as kind of a garage rock band, but now they're creating these complex layered songs that tackle, some heavy themes, which brings us to the song Consume. So like musically, the track rocks. The verses feel tight and kind of explode into these massive choruses where Daniela's vocals really soar. The whole song has this mechanical, relentless quality to it, like it's being caught in the gears of a machine. And I feel like they use the music and stuff to mirror the feeling of being trapped in the cycle of consumption. Buy this, watch this, need this, that kind of shit. And so it's just like what the song is about. You guys ever got an email of an ad or like for some product or whatever after like possibly seeing it or looking at it and it like emails you now? Have you gotten these? Like I'm getting email.
Yeah.
Like I never putting in your email address, but you're like logged into your Google account or whatever on your Chrome and they're like, yep, they were looking at this. So here's their email. Go ahead and fucking email them.
Dude, we just talk about stuff and I get that on my
absolutely.
Google feed. Like it's listening
Well, on the feed,
in.
yes, but now I'm starting to get emails. You guys get emails? Because like the emails are starting to happen.
If you order one sex toy from adamandeve.com, they will text you twice a day and email you every day with a new offer, like 50% off one item plus 7 free gifts. I seriously see that like 4 times a week. I'm just like, God, I don't have the money for it right now, but don't go away.
My Instagram, I don't really use it that much, but I think the last one I posted was the first day of school last September or something. And it had my boys holding up Flaming Lips record. It doesn't matter, but it started like that thing has gotten all these.
Sounds like a really cool post, man. You got like good taste and stuff. That people commented that.
Are you done? No, but just lately, it's just like whore bots or whatever Instagram accounts have been liking it. So it's just like naked girl picture. Like what am I supposed to do with all that? Like, where does that come from?
You saw this thing
why are they picking on this?
Meta is they said they're populating Facebook and Instagram with AI bots now. Like they're populating on purpose. They're like, I don't know what the point of that is, but they want you interacting with
it's to
their
learn
AI.
human behavior. Yeah.
Yes.
So is that why I'm getting those?
No, I don't know.
It's
I mean, I
like
feel like
on that one post.
Did it just start? No.
I think
I posted
probably
it
all
like
of your
months ago.
searches
Oh,
and
yeah.
likes have been on like, other sort of supermodel naked girls and stuff. And so they're just like, oh, that's your algorithm. We're just going to send it to you.
So,
and you just like, it's like a secret that you're not trying to tell.
Geoff goes
So,
to
like,
Instagram looking for porn. He just can't find it. He's like,
It's like, man, it's so close. You just move your hand.
it's like
Just move your hand a little bit.
See-through gown.
elegant see-through gown. It's important to me that it's elegant, okay?
White dress underwater. Yeah.
Actually, this is sounding pretty good, guys. We should, I'm going to save these searches for later.
The next thing you'll get is they'll like send you the, top 10 starlets with brown hair. And it's just images with names that you have to go do your own research on. It's a horrible
really?
thing.
So it's just
Horrible
telling you
machine.
names, and then you you have to do all the work?
Sure.
Man, that sucks. It's like, and they're all just former girlfriends of Adam Duritz.
We're basically being trained to want stuff that we don't even know existed like 5 minutes ago. The warning captures that feeling of being trapped in the cycle and, the buy, consume, repeat, but never being satisfied. They're also being consumed, I think, because they got their whole start in social media and that's how they got their popularity and whatnot. So it's, not just, I think, commentary on what is happening to everybody, but like them as the product as well. One last little thing is they've been a band for 10 years and they have 4 studio albums and the oldest member is 24.
That's crazy.
One of the songs in the new album is kind of poppy and like their fans, like they're major fans. I just learned about them this year when they were touring with Dead Poets Society. And then he brought one of them out to sing the song Hurt with. And so I was like, oh, who's that? So that's how I found him. Anyway, one of their songs is a little bit poppy and the fans were like, no, fuck that song, whatever. I think they're afraid that because they're still so young that they can that they're going to push them over into pop and they're going to lose like their rock edge. So will be interesting to see what happens with that band since they are, so young.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of like, where do you go from here? But up, Ray. The stairs go up. Fro, you've got the shit pick tonight. Big number 2. What brown mess did you discover in 2024 you're going to share with us first?
Why is it a shit pick?
Because it's number 2.
This is number 2.
Oh.
You going number 2?
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm sure it's a great song. It's just that number 2 means poop to me, and I have to continue my my character of infantilism, so that's what I called it.
Well, my song is from a band that partakes in LSD. They're fans of pigs, and they engage in non-indulgent hedonism. This is Mannequin Pussy, and off of their March 2024 record. The song is Loud Bark.
Could get the color in my microphone, one that's big and red. I'm no ways to a woman, but I taste like success. I keep all my sugar, I know you like it best. I am a loud bark, deep bite, a loud bark, deep bite. I got a loud bark, deep bite, a loud bark, deep.
I mean, what's not to love?
Dude, yeah, it was quite a revelation to get to play that record this year, and it was a quick affair, quick fall in love with that band for me, and this was the first album of theirs that I'd heard. And of course, like, everybody else had already known about them, and like their whole tour was sold out, and even though it was 6 months away, there was just like, it was a tiny venue, and they they sold it out. But they were doing this sort of like Instagram giveaway where they'd put you on the guest list if you shot a reel or something on Instagram, and then soundtracked it to one of their 2 songs, and this was one of the options that you could do. And I was like, God, I gotta do this. I gotta get into this show. And so I did, and it's not very good, and they didn't pick it, but it was a huge disappointment to not catch them this year, because they are quite the band. I did see that they are booked to play Bonnaroo, which makes me feel like they're going to be on that. They're going to be on that festival circuit this year, so I think there's going to be an opportunity.
Man, so I did actually get into this band, at least this album, late in the year, and it was funny because I was like, oh god, because I would have definitely picked one but I knew Geoff was going to, or you, Dave. So me being the last one in, I was not going to take a pick, but I would have gone with like Sometimes or I Got Heaven. I think those are like one of my two favorites.
The whole record is front to back is a great record. I like how we're building, and she's got one hell of a scream, and you could tell that her name is Marissa DeBise. You could tell that her rage is real, and she's dealing with a lot of stuff. She was diagnosed with cancer when she was a young woman, and lived through it, and also had to caretake with her mom after a stroke, and so she had a lot of there's a lot of things that she had, a lot of life that she's had to live so far, and she's also seems to be like both vulnerable and tough as nails, which is a really cool combo.
Do you know about the primal scream that happened at these shows? I want to witness this.
No.
So apparently, I'm just going to quote this thing I read. Established fans of the band are familiar with the ritual that occurs at every Mannequin Pussy show, a primal scream performed in unison by every person in the room. Since rage is a privilege and anger a blessing, Mannequin Pussy creates moments for the angst-ridden to be loud and messy. So apparently this happens at every show.
Nice.
You just like, "Ah!" You do like the primal scream to like get it all out and then enjoy the show. I
don't know what my primal scream would sound like. Is that something that, do you guys have one?
It doesn't sound cool. I don't think it is. It sounds like, just sounds unhinged and scary. And
when was the last time you did a primal scream?
It generally happens in the car. It's like when enough shit is building and I'm like, and I'm just there and I finally get in the car and there's like maybe a driver's being an a-hole or something happens and it's just like the straw that broke, the camel's back or whatever. And I just let it out and it is loud and like kind of high and low at the same time. And my voice will crack in the middle of it. It is a weird thing, but it's just, I don't know. It's kind of unhinged sounding. And I'm like, yeah, but it feels better when it's done.
Dave, when do you think the last time is that you screamed? I would say I shouted today at somebody that in my estimation was going too fast down my residential road, and so I shouted at them to slow down.
But that's not a primal scream. No, but this is like just a straight up, just like
no. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I don't scream. I don't remember the last time I screamed. I just don't do it.
Like my head will get all fuzzy by the time I'm done.
No, I don't like to be screamed at, so I don't like raising my voice. And so like I'll shout at, drivers with like my windows up or whatever when no one else is in the car, but like,
oh yeah, I'm not doing primal screams with like the family in the car.
Well, obviously, yeah. But I'm not even shouting at drivers in the car. I'm just like, oh, yeah, under my breath, kind of, you fucking asshole, whatever. Yeah, I don't know that primal scream. I could pinpoint when the last one was. I feel like it was much, much younger.
Yeah, I probably have a few of those a year.
Yeah, I got to try it. So there was an idea that my friend Kristen and I had during the pandemic, and it was a business we wanted to start called the Scream Field. And it's just basically a 50-acre field that you can book time to go out, into this giant field. It could be a cornfield or whatever, just a field, and just like scream into the void. It was like that. That was the whole point.
There's such an obvious name here that you're passing out, but it's Field of Screams.
Sure. But obviously, I think we would get the copyright infringement there.
No, you wouldn't.
Especially if we did corn. I don't know, man.
It's parody.
Field of Screams, and then
all right,
and then,
I'm gonna text her. Kristen, hey, let's get back to this. Field of Screams. What do you think?
Field of Screams also sounds like it might be like kind of a like a haunted hayride sort of situation.
50 acres is big. What if you make it smaller and you put people on either side and they can just scream at each other, but they can't really hear what the other one's saying?
Okay, I think the whole point was really just to like
do a primal
go
scream,
and scream into the void, do nothing.
I got that. But wouldn't it be kind of fun to scream at somebody else? You can't really hear what they're saying. You're just like yelling and cursing at people. They're just far enough away. You're like, what? I don't know what they're saying, so it's fine.
It's like that video of those two dudes who's like, hey, what? Fuck you. He's like, what? You're right. Just it's old internet gold.
I don't know it.
I don't either. That makes it better.
All by myself.
Yeah, I thirst hard to see Mannequin Pussy perform. I think, have we talked about this on the pod? But I think they just have a tremendous band name because it basically ensures that they're never going to become too big. Like there's a ceiling to what a band called Mannequin Pussy could achieve in pop culture. Cause it's like, cause it's too racy or something.
Yeah, but you know what? If they were getting big, they would just rebrand them as like MP or something like that.
Or Mannequin P.
Yeah. It's something.
Nah, I don't think they would ever go for that. I think they're too.
I don't think so.
Well,
either.
I'm just saying if
think
they
they're
were
too real.
to like get huge, like there's always a way,
It's their fourth album. This is obviously kind of a breakout, I think. And it's definitely, I want to be cool and find like a deep cut, but it's on a lot of top fives around the blogosphere of records in 2024. So I'm not unique for digging it hard, but it's obviously a standout record. Like it's just every single track is good. It kicks a lot of ass, but it's also authentic. What are the other things that you like, Russ?
I like it raw. I like it authentic, and I like it vulnerable.
Raw. It's definitely raw, authentic, and vulnerable. Yeah.
It is probably the only crossover band that we have.
That's what I was gonna say. Our solution set in our Venn diagram is pretty small. Though there's other stuff too. Let's not overplay it. But this is definitely one that, and I think it's because it's got enough punk, but it's also got enough rock in there. It's a good combo, dude. And
it also like
both of those things.
It has like that kind of classic quiet, loud, quiet thing that the 90s bands had, like Pixies, Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, right? And like if you're into that sound, like you can check out the Australian band Violent Soho. You guys probably haven't, but there's this album called Hungry Ghost, came out in 2013, and it's incredible. It's dude singing, so it's not necessarily like super like Mannequin Pussy, but it's kind of there. And there's like a song called Covered in Chrome, which is amazing, which I will play at one point whenever the time is right for it. And it's cool. Anyway, it just kind of reminds me of them a little bit too. So it was good. Well, I kicked myself for waiting so long to like listen to, because I think the first song I listened to, it was like one of the slower ones. I'm like, nope, that's not working. And then I finally said, okay, I'm gonna fucking sit down and listen to this song. And I was like, oh shit, this album's good.
No, it makes me think of like the Adrian Lenker record, which is on similarly a lot of top 10 lists for the year. And I put it on, and the first track is just a little bit slow, and I was kind of like, all right, pass. And then like, I don't know, last week I heard two different songs and I was like, this is awesome. Who is this? And, did the Shazam thing on the phone, and both times I was like, oh, it's from this fucking record that I'm supposed to like, and went back, and it's actually a really kick-ass record.
It sucks when that happens. Make snap judgments and you're like, wasted time. Okay.
I did that with the whole band Granddaddy, which is a friend of the pod. It was like back in Kazaa right days.
Yeah.
I had heard about Granddaddy and like Spin or something, so I was like, I'll go check out a song on Kazaa, and so I downloaded whatever their first song was that came up, and it was just kind of like bling bong bling bong bling, like so they're really slow, and I was like, fuck that. Like peaced out on it, and then like 12 years later or something, I was like, oh my god, I love this band so fucking hard. It wasn't that long later, but it took me a long time.
Well, we love you, Mannequin Pussy. If y'all are listening, hit up Dixie on the email. We'll get you in for an interview to promote literally anything you fucking want, like whatever.
Yeah,
Holy
let's
shit.
hang, dude.
Y'all are badass.
They know what it's like to build a fan base from the ground up, like we're doing. They know they've been there.
Yep.
You know,
and doing it because they love it, not for any other reason.
Obviously.
And,
Yeah.
there you go.
It's a release
We're kind
for
of the
them.
same kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm releasing all the time, all over you guys. You know?
Oh, I can feel it. My eyes are burning. That's for sure. All right, let's take a quick break and maybe do a little pod swap.
What's up, folks? It's Jake here from the Astrovert Podcast. Come join us as we play underplayed and undershared bands from across the United States and the world. We found local bands from the Midwest, Florida, the UK, New Zealand, and far, far beyond. Some of our recent favorite discoveries include Sprawl, Glitch Kingdom, City of Auburn, Flake, Michigan, and so many more. We feature rock news,
News about rock tracks and getting rocked.
as well as discuss our band's journey toward finishing our forthcoming EP. Our first two singles, Last Call and Tides of Elephants, both out now. You can find the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Like a cut from a knife to a scab that's always bleeding. It's always bleeding. And when you
Sweet. Check them out. Back to 6 picks. I've got pick 3 tonight, and this one isn't from a new artist, but rather one whose outputs I'd written off until I heard this record this year. It was a surprise release to everyone this past July, secretly put into shopping bags to patrons at the Third Man record stores in Nashville, Detroit, and London. Anybody that bought something got a bag that their merchandise went in, and they just slipped this record in. And that record is called No Name. It was a blank sleeve with a blank label that only said No Name on the record, and that's the official name of the record, and it's by Jack White, which did not debut at number 1 because nobody knew it was a thing and that it even came out. So, tonight we're going to listen to my favorite track off this record, which is, there are a ton of great tracks on this record, but the one we're going to listen to tonight is Archbishop Harold Holmes.
You're looking for a true friend or a true lover, or if you've been living undercover. Well, I'm coming to your town to break it all down and help you with all of this. I'm looking to help you find bliss. One day, one way, can't miss. I'm here to tear all the walls down. Doesn't matter if it's a large town or a small town. Just like Joshua and the fabled walls of Jericho, I'm here to tear down the institution.
It's a callback a little bit to Rag and Bones, don't you think?
Well, so I think that's one of the things that has been interesting for like following Jack White's solo career. I think that when he went out on his own, he really worked to create a sound that was unique from all of the other projects that he'd done. Like he'd done the White Stripes, he'd done the Raconteurs, he'd done the Dead Weather, and now he was doing something that was just him. And maybe it felt like he couldn't do any of the other things that he'd done before, so he was trying to see what else it was. And I feel like with this record, he's finally said, fuck all that. Like, I can just do a record that is like the music that I've been making my whole career. So it's like all of the music. It's all 5 of these bands, all 5 of these experiences. And I fucking love it. It's going to be tough to beat as far as like best rock record of the year. Like, this is a rock record that I don't know another one that came out this year that is that holds a candle to it. This is my top pick for sure. Yeah, it's like it came out of nowhere. Nobody knew this was happening, and then like all of a sudden, I mean, he's got his own record pressing plant, so he got to do all this shit undercover, and he's his own label, so it's all undercover, and they just put it out, and nobody knew.
One of my favorite things about you is how much of a Jack White stan you are. Like you're just you love him, and you've been on the Third Man.
And he holds him up to this really high standard, and then he fake cries and he's pissed off at him, but he still loves him anyway. And he's like, he has redeemed himself from his fake cry.
And you've been on the Third Man mailing list for years, and I kind of like wish that I was doing all that stuff, because I also kind of like, I heart Jack White pretty hard, but like you're really following through on it in a way that I'm not. And I also think this record fucking rules. But let me ask you, Why did he release it the way that he did? Is there analysis on that?
He's no stranger to secret releases. Like back when he was a fledgling musician, he would record these songs on 7 inches, and then his day job, he worked in a furniture factory doing upholstery work. He was an upholsterer, and he would hide these 7 inches.
And played in a band called The Upholsterers.
That's true. That is true. But he hid those records of the upholsterers in the upholstery of furniture that he was building. Like, they're some of the most sought after, pieces of memorabilia.
There are possibly people that have been sitting on their fucking recliner that have a Jack White album hidden in there somewhere. They don't even know.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
it's possible.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of the thing I think that has been just like the thing that he's done that lots of other people have done. But like he created a studio and a brand that was very specific. It was very much like Third Man Records is this thing that's like it's black, yellow, and white, and they they print records on tricolored vinyl and have all of these really exclusive things. It has allowed for him to do a lot of different things and a lot of different series, and his record label has put out a lot of really good stuff. Like he kind of went back and got Wanda Jackson back into the scene for a minute, and that was really kick-ass. But anyway, enough about Jack White. I want to talk about this song a little bit.
Dude, his vocals going over this, like the music is kind of chilled out, kind of stripped down, I guess, right? But like his vocals are unhinged. Like he's just going nuts, which is kind of cool.
It's so awesome. And it's also like one of those songs you listen to and you're like, how does he remember all the words? Like it's like so fast and frenetic and
But it's got like the music's kind of
content.
Zeppelinish. Do you get that? Kind of, was it Immigrant
Yeah.
Song maybe or something? I don't know.
Okay, I could get that. I saw a video of his sort of backstage routine, like when he's getting ready to start a show, and like they're in there just like drinking beers or water or whatever, Gatorade maybe, and he's just like screaming, like they're playing Beastie Boys in the background, and he's just like, wow, just like screaming like he does, and it's the wildest thing that he can produce some of those vocal noises at all. It's wild. As Geoff mentioned, I've been on the Vault subscription for many years, and one of the benefits for that was that I had early access to purchasing tickets when he came to town. And then I was notified like the morning of a secret show, the day that he was in town, and I was able to get on the list for that early show, which was at a really small bar here on South Congress, the Continental Club. And I think their capacity is 187 people. And so I got to go see him play
awesome,
this
dude.
song live, like at that fucking club. And it just like, it ripped the doors off. It was out of control. Like the whole show was great. And he played stuff from his whole catalog. He played stuff from the Stripes. He played stuff from the Raconteurs, Dead Weather, his solo stuff. It's just like, it was awesome. It was so cool. Did a 2-hour set.
Jealous of that. So jealous.
Jealous?
Yeah. I'm jealous.
Oh, you're jealous. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
Jealous.
and then the next show was at the Mohawk later that night, and equally kick-ass. But so Archbishop Harold Holmes is on the show poster for the second show that day, which is a poster of 7 rats. And referential to this song, which is this critique of religious saviorism. It's sort of written in this form letter that, used to go out like televangelist style to just be, applicable to anyone. He's like, do you have man trouble? You have woman trouble? You have what trouble do you have? Anybody? Like, hey, you can all benefit from this. And it's like this whole con man thing that's also referential to that musical, The Music Man. Because the Music Man is Harold Hill, not Harold Holmes. And there's like a literal reference to the Wall of Jericho in the song 76 Trombones that is straight lifted into this. It's like the lyrical style and the cadence is all similar. So it's just
did you? I'm sorry. I read this thing of they were talking about like his vocals, and they said it was White's vaudevillian take on rap. Which is kind of funny.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it is kind of carnival barker, you know? It is very much like a con man. It's sort of like you're coming into the tent, like it's a revivalist. It's sort of like, and I grew up Catholic, and so like anything that's critical of religion, I'm here for it, you know? I think like let's break down the business and tax
But
everybody.
it's also kind of like world creating. There's something that's like strangely comforting about thinking about the revivalists kind of like backwoods thing that used to I don't know, the circus of it. There's something that's like it's like this weird world that he's inhabiting for the song, and you can kind of like visualize it. You can, I don't know, a lot of what he does is he's almost like they call him synesthetes, which is where like the music and the visuals are interlaced with each other, and the music can make you see things, and like you see I don't know, you see sounds and
that's cool. No, I totally get that. I get that 100%. I definitely had images in my head when I listened to that song.
Yeah,
and I think he's always done like the song that I was mentioning, Rag and Bones, is where he and Meg are stopping by an old house and trying to like get the people there to give them stuff, and it's like, oh, you got an old gramophone, and you could just like see them walking down the street wearing some kind of strange clothing and trying to get old antiques off of this person. It's just it's just part of these like little snapshots that of an old kind of lost world.
Yeah, well, Jack, you have totally redeemed yourself as far as I'm concerned, and I did get tickets to the show on Cinco de Mayo. It's a Monday, so sorry, wife. All right, we're headed back to the top. Pick number 4 coming in for Russ. What do we got tonight, Russ, for number 4?
My last pick tonight is by a band called Winona Fighter, and this song is called Attention.
Would you see me as a daughter or another pretty penny, you fucking socialite? Give me your attention, please. Go and get on your knees. Nothing can faze me, it's all enraging. Nightmares, dead dreams. Give me your attention now, right before I knock you out. Nothing can scare me, cities are burning down. Attention now, attention.
Okay, so a while back, Geoff was talking about opening bands, and he said this thing that this has always stuck with me. He says, nobody cares about the openers. And which I replied, like, fuck, I do. Like, I like the openers. So earlier this year, my wife and I bought tickets to a show at Stubbs for this band. And, they're a really fun emerging punk band. They were the first band to play in a lineup of 4 bands that night at Stubbs. Maybe it was even 5. It was a bunch of bands playing that night. And, the tickets were $12, and all the other bands were, I don't know, like emo bands, like bands that just definitely weren't into. But I'm like, with $12, I'll go watch, the opener or whatever. And so we got there, we had to get there early because we knew they were going to be the first one playing. They started right at 7. The band came out, they played like 25 minutes, maybe tops, 20, 25. So they're still small enough that they run their own merch table. So after the show was done, we got to go talk to the front woman, Coco, for a bit. She was like super cool and down to earth.
Dude, bands that work their own merch table, those are like, that's just, yeah. That's the shit.
It's fun. It was awesome. It was just like a really fucking cool experience. And then like after like we waited around to like get merch from them and talk to her a little bit, and then we left and went to a movie.
It was 7:30.
Yeah, and it was 7:30. No, like we knew it was going to be over early.
Yeah, $12. It's an easy yes.
Anyway, so Winona Fighter's story starts in a way that feels kind of authentically punk. So you have like two musicians who met through a Craigslist ad in Nashville. Coco's from Boston, and she brought the Boston punk ethos to Nashville, and the band formed in 2021 and contributed to like a resurgence of punk in the city, and where they said that they saw a void in the scene and thought that they would fill it themselves, which I think speaks to their DIY spirit. Once again, as we always like to joke about me, this band is raw, vulnerable, and authentic. And you know what's really special about them? It's like how they translate all their raw energy from their recordings. Like, it's on stage. They go out there and they kill it with everything they have. Like, man, I fucking love young bands for this reason. Like, I just love, like, you know, they have so much to fucking prove, and they just fucking go out there and they play harder and with more energy.
They're not jaded yet.
Not at all. They're just trying to make it. And I love that about them. This is like that's the best part of openers for me, is that like they have not settled yet. They're not even close to settling. They're like, we have got to earn it. They bring this like incredible physical energy to their performances. Coco's bouncing around up there, and she's just like kicking the air. She's like constantly throwing her foot out like she's kicking something. And it's not just her though. I mean, like every member of the band brings this like captivating animated presence that makes it impossible to look away. And they also do this thing where they go to thrift stores in the cities that they're playing at before the show, and they buy these like wacky t-shirts that they find, and they all wear them.
Oh, that's funny.
So like we saw them at 7:00, 30 minutes after the doors opened or whatever. And they had a much bigger crowd there than I expected. And I'm sure a lot of them were just the people were there for the other bands, but they started playing, dude. And they drew the crowd in. I was impressed. I thought it was going to be like 10 of us, but it was like hundreds of us. So it was kind of cool. Yeah.
Wow. Inside?
No. Outside Stubbs. Yeah.
Of Stubbs?
Yeah, Stubbs.
Oh,
but like,
okay.
when certain bands play, like there's like people in the front and everybody else is just talking, drinking beer, going to the bathroom. Like it just got bottlenecked in there.
Everybody sucked it
cool.
up. Yeah.
It was
That's
cool.
awesome.
So like you got like this band that's like out there giving everything they got physically while like delivering these like intense confrontational lyrics. And it creates this kind of perfect storm of energy between the band and the audience. And it's that kind of authentic high energy performance that I think is helping build their reputation as a must-see live act. And they have kept everyone's attention, right? So, which brings me to my pick tonight.
Nice.
Musically, they're bringing this like kind of perfect blend of post-hardcore aggression and melodic punk that shows their influences, but they're not just copying their heroes. Like they're building something new here, I think. And the song itself is like a masterclass in like tension and release. The lyrics have like a raw call out of how younger generations are often seen as commodities rather than human beings. And they issue a warning about what happens when you ignore people for too long. The chorus is where everything explodes, both musically and lyrically, and the demand for attention isn't just about being noticed, it's about demanding accountability. It's the sound of a generation that's tired of being patronized and exploited. And what was particularly cool about Winona Fighter is how they've built their following. Like they didn't blow up overnight or go viral on TikTok. They did it the old school way, getting in the van, playing shows to whoever would listen, starting with crowds of 0 and building to festival stages. And that growth shows like the confidence of their sound and the depth of their songwriting, I think. And their debut album, My Apologies to the Chef, is coming out next month. This is a song off that album, a single off that. And I think it's going to be awesome. Like they've been putting out singles for a while now, and I'm super excited for this particular album. I think it's going to be, I don't know. I think it's going to be something special.
Well, that's awesome. No, it sounds like it's got a lot of energy, and maybe we'll have to catch them the next time they come through.
Let's take a break and chew the fat. Play that motherfucker.
Geoff, Russ, and Dave in the motherfucking chat, chewing the fat on stuff weird and whack.
Today's Chewing the Fat segment is brought to us by BowlBrush.com, your source for all your toilet bowl brush needs. They've got all shapes and sizes, perfect for every bathroom. And if you put 6 picks in the coupon code, you will get free shipping. Hey, look at that. When that stain is a pain, go to bullbrush.com today. All right, thanks, Dixie, for setting us up with Bullbrush. They are actually a Canadian company who does their manufacturing right here in Illinois, so you can feel good that you're using American-made products from real Americans doing immigrant jobs, or jobs immigrants used to. And speaking of discovering new bands, not all band names are created equal. So we've got a segment today where we're going to talk about some bad band names. You know, like we talked about how Coldplay was originally going to be Starfish, both terrible band names. But Radiohead was on a Friday before they were Radiohead, and I actually think those are both pretty good. But got me thinking about how the ones that settled on a bad name, like how did they get there? And like, what was the name before they changed it? You know, like how terrible was Chumbawamba's first idea for a band name? It was like so bad that when they got to Chumbawamba, they were like, yeah, that's not bad. What do you think their first band name was?
Weren't they like hardcore punks or something? Like Irish punks? Do I have that wrong? So they were probably like the Killer Cunts or something like that before.
Or the drunken cockwombles.
The Drunken Cockwombles. That's actually a fucking awesome name.
But they were like, yeah, we can't get that name on the radio, so that's not Irish, but whatever.
No.
So they're like, let's do Chumbawamba.
That's Gary Oldman from Slow Horses, man.
What the fuck, dude? You are a Screen Actors Guild card-holding thespian, and you cannot fucking do accents at all, even close.
Listen, it's a craft, okay? You know, you have to find the voice for it, and then, you
need a
rehearse.
coach. You got to have the right coaches and whatnot.
Okay, other bad names.
Hoobastank. Oh, God. What a bad name. Hoobastank.
What do bad band names have in common? I think one of them that shows up, and to be clear, we all sent, like, to each other, we sent ones that we thought were bad names. But I think one of the things they have in common are nonsense words, or like they sound like baby language or something. You know, like Hoobastank. They were just phoning it in when it was time to name the band. They're like, what are just, I don't know, fucking Hoobastank or something. And they're like, yeah, I guess. It's like, nobody really has anything better.
The drummer raises his hand. He's like, what about Booba Fuck? They're like, no, dude, you're out of the band.
I just always assumed that people that were forming bands, like part of the fun is like you have that band name in your back pocket, you know, that you want to call your band. And apparently that's not the case.
Yeah. I mean, what was the original Smash Mouth band?
That was definitely called Faceful of Dicks, was the first name of that band.
I thought they were just called Mayonnaise Jar.
So cringy band name, the Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I always struggled with that one. Struggled to say it in front of my parents, you know, because it's like, you don't want them to know that you know what that is, you know, and, but there's this kind of like unspoken kind of like, we both know it, but we're not going to let it on to each other because we don't have the sex talk. Because you don't want your dad to be like, don't go out just trying to pop a bunch of cherries, guy. And you're like, don't worry, it's not gonna really happen to me, Dad.
That's not gonna be a problem, Mom. You only let me have the MC Hammer tape until 8th grade.
Yeah.
They could be the virginity merchants.
Virginity merchants. Or
bad.
like the parental rapist. I don't know.
The hymen bustin' bastards. All right, what about the Goo Goo Dolls?
One of the worst names.
So I
ever.
definitely cheated on this one, and I looked up to see what they were called before that because it was not their original name. I was just curious because, like, how do you settle on that? And it makes sense because the original name was Cum Cum Dolls.
That's a joke. It's obviously a joke.
It's a bad joke.
I don't trust after the time I literally don't trust anything that Russ has to say. So He's like a Decepticon now. Like, I just don't know what the fuck is happening. And so, I kind of like Cum Cum Dolls. I think Cum Cum Dolls is a good name. Like, I don't necessarily think it's bad, but like there are inscrutable names that I'm so curious. I'm like curious about them, but I also am like, what? Why is it like Portugal the Man? Okay, Portugal the Man is Portugal, period, capital THE, man.
What was the thing? I think I heard somebody say they were like reading they're like, we're going to the last line of, or the first words on this page, 127 of whatever book, and it was like the end of a sentence. And it's about somebody who'd gone to Portugal. And then the next sentence started with the man. And they're like, oh, okay. So Portugal the Man. I guess that'll be our name.
What page was that? Did you say?
I don't know. It's 127, I think is what I said.
127? Do you think that it went to like page 27 first and they tried that, but it said Croatia, the cum dumpster?
Like, oh, gosh.
That's
Croatia's really had a hard time.
What's the name of that book, Russ? What's the name of the book that had that?
Any other names? Any other names to blow through?
What is on the list?
Toad and the Wet Sprocket.
Okay, Toad and the Wet Sprocket to me is like the height of just 90s, like...
Dude, honestly, Goo Goo Dolls, Toad the Wet Sprocket, and what was the other one that you said? Like, I could not tell you who sang what song.
They're like trying to be Big Head Todd and the Monsters, which is a good name. And they're like, I know, I'm Toad, and we're the Wet Sprocket. You know? Because it's like... And people are like, I guess, dude. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't have anything better.
Sure. The A&R rep was like, okay, can you frost your tips? Get out there. Go on.
It's like, well, we could be like Chode and the Dick Drizzle.
Dick Drizzle.
All of Russ's bands start as like just an
all
excuse
dicks. It's dicks and dicks
Yeah, I know.
and dicks.
It's a straight up like, I'm just making dick jokes tonight. That's what I'm up for.
Oh, G-Love. G-Love and Special Sauce.
So you think the special sauce is like burger special sauce? I think that's where they're going with that? Or just like...
Is it cum? Is it cum, Russ? Is that what you... Yeah.
I didn't know what you want it to be.
Is it like bachelor butter, you know? Like, that's what I want to know. Like,
Oh my God. I've never heard that. That's new for me. Bachelor butter.
And now back to Six Picks Music Club.
All right, Fro. We are coming up back to you. Your second favorite track, or maybe your second pick of favorite tracks from 2024. Tell us and listener what you've got.
This was a little like off the beaten path for me. I heard the song last year by Faye Webster, and it's off the record Underdressed at the Symphony. It's her 5th studio album. And I was just like, I was so drawn to it. I just kept like, it kept being in my head. And I was just like, there's something peculiar and alluring about it. Yeah. So let's listen to it and we'll talk more about it. But this is called But Not Kiss.
I want to sleep in your arms, but not kiss. I long for your touch, but don't mix. Don't want to regret any of it.
Faye Webster's from Atlanta, Georgia.
and this song is from 2023.
I don't care. She's a fascinating creature to me. She does like indie rock stuff and country, but then she also has a song off of this record with Lil Yachty. You know, so
Yeah.
she's like, she's not gonna let any genres hold her down, but she also liberally uses the pedal steel guitar, and I just fucking love that shit, dude. Like
The way that song builds, like it just starts off so like simple with just her voice and the guitar, and then like that pedal steel just like bam hits you. You're like, what? Yeah, that's cool.
And the other songs on the record are like beautiful pedal steel songs. Like, I mean, she's a real pro, and this is good music that's going on. And I don't really, it's one of those bands, like I have no context, or artists, I have no context for it. I don't know what she's coming from or like who her following is. I don't really care. I just like discovered the song and listened to the album, and it's just like my album that I listened to on my own. Like my wife wouldn't like it. It's just for me.
Sure.
But there's something about this too. It's like playful. She's holding that. She's like that. The lyrics where she's like, "I want to sleep in your arms," and it's like lasting a little bit too long. And she's like, "But not kiss you." And it's like a little tricky, a little playful, a little fun. I dig it, man.
Well, and it's kind of relatable too. I mean, just that whole like wanting to be close to someone but not too close, you know? And
Yeah.
then, and she's got kind of
totally.
like an angelic falsetto going on there too.
Yeah, there's definitely been friends that like just said, "Hey, I need to have some comfort, but I'm not trying to be physical or sexual with you." Like I was like, "Okay, yeah, just crawl in. There's always room in old Dave's
In
bed
the friend
back
zone.
before."
Yeah, there's always
wife.
room
Yeah.
in the friend zone in here for sure.
As long as you don't mind me stabbing you in the back. Yeah, I was friend zone guy for a while. I learned how to navigate those waters.
I did too. We all got there.
Everybody
But,
does.
This is on the label Secretly Canadian, which I think is a funny label name.
That is a fun label. Yeah.
But yeah, listen to Lego Ring with Lil Yachty. Listen to the record. Get some drippy, delicious pedal steel songs. And she's gonna come up here to my parts, Toronto, in a couple months, and I'm gonna be jamming. I'm gonna go up and buy a shirt.
No, also on Secretly Canadian is The War on Drugs, Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and Yeasay are all favorites of mine. So there's a couple other things about Faye Webster. I think she actually was classmates with Lil Yachty and that lady rapper Dram, such that she was a photographer and like has all these pictures that she took of Atlanta rappers that were featured in like Billboard and Rolling Stone and stuff.
Is that right?
And then Nike hired her to do an ad campaign in 2017. For their Air Max 97 shoe. They wanted like creatives from the year that were born in the year 97. So she was part of that. And she's also a passionate Atlanta Braves fan.
No, that makes sense because her website's real slick. Like it's
I
not,
believe it.
It's
I
not
believe
like
it.
it's not like glitzy, but it's slick. Like it's put together in a cool way, and you can tell that she's thinking through the art of what she does, not just the music of what she does. Much like Jack White, your pick for tonight.
Well, to kind of tie your pick into my pick, my second pick, this album, Underdressed at the Symphony, was recorded at the Sonic Ranch in Texas, which is just southeast of El Paso, and also recorded is the sixth pick of our picks tonight of 2024.
I had some Sonic Ranch last time I was in Louisiana, and ate it with some tater tots. Dude, stomach troubles.
Look out, bubble guts coming. But yeah, so for this last track, for the pick 6 of 6 Picks Music Club 2024 Best Of, I kind of cheated a little bit because it features 2 of my favorite artists from this last year. Catherine Crutchfield's Waxahatchee, featuring MJ Lenderman, off the album Tiger's Blood, recorded at Sonic Ranch in Texas from March of this last year. Let's give a listen to Right Back to It.
Been yours for so long. Come right back to it. I let my mind run wild. I don't know why I do it, but you just settle in like a song we know it. If I can keep up, we'll get right back to it.
Yeah, man. So that's just such a sweet song. Like I love a lot of things about it, and one of the things that just kind of kicks it off that I think is really interesting, that I think is really cool about the band Waxahatchee, which is referring to Waxahatchee, Arkansas, not the Waxahatchee River in Arkansas, not Waxahatchee, Texas. This is her 6th studio album and recorded at the Sonic Ranch. And she's kind of done a lot of different things. She was in a band with her twin sister, and then started doing some solo stuff, and then was actually in a band called Plains with Jess Williamson, you guys might remember from my picks last year. Kind of in that similar vein where it's sort of like it's indie rock, alt country kind of thing. And this song in particular is kind of this throwback to that sort of country duet. That's what they were trying to pull off here, which I think they did amazingly.
I really like the slow banjo flecking.
Yeah.
I also like that word flecking. That's good.
Flecking. Yep. Well, so that's Phil Cook on the banjo, who is Brad Cook's brother, and they are at the core of the band with Katie. So it's kind of her project that she started, and then Brad, Phil's brother, was also the producer on the records. They were kind of intertwined on the sound of how it was going to go. So Brad Cook has been her producer on a number of different things, and he plays bass on this record. His brother Phil plays drums.
But I thought he played the banjo. Did you not say he plays the banjo?
So no, you're right. I'm sorry. Phil Cook plays the banjo. Spencer Tweedy plays the drums on this album. Son of Wilco great. Yeah, Geoff Tweedy.
Jeffrey Tweedy's son?
Yeah, he's in this freaking band. And like, I didn't know that until I started digging into it a little more. And I was like, holy shit, Spence doing drums for this fucking great record is awesome.
That's cool.
You know, she toured this band with Kurt Vile, and they were at South by Southwest in 2022 and ended up meeting this dude, MJ Linderman, who is the guitarist for this album. They invited him to come to the studio to kind of sit in and just sort of listen and such, and then he just ended up playing all of the guitar and then singing the harmony on this track. And Brad, he says that that song, that harmony, sort of anchored the feeling of the rest of this record. So
yeah, I saw that they're saying that the harmonies between Crutchfield and Linderman represented the established and rising indie folk coming together, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. But it's this song about love that is, I think, a really important thing to kind of, let's try to carry this forward at any cost that we can. But it's this story about these two people that love each other. They think they're gonna fuck it up, and but there's like this point that they can come back to anytime it gets too crazy or too messed up. They they're not thwarted by the drama or the issues. Like, they come back to that sort of center point where these two people are connected. And
yeah, it's like the ability to reconnect despite time apart.
Conflict, like, there's a lot of things that you can sort of like relate it to, and
kind of like exploring the theme of enduring love and relationship dynamics. Yeah,
it's just a really beautiful song, and I super dig it. So
it's like a perfect driving with the windows down kind of song.
Yeah,
with like a classic country storytelling vibe, if you will.
Yeah,
and then and then when like the harmony comes in, it just hits different. It's like
sure,
they found a way to make a love song that's both completely honest and like honest about the hard parts, but still somehow hopeful.
Yeah. So she said in a press release that she was really interested in writing love songs that are gritty and unromantic. She wanted to make a song about the ebb and flow of a long-time love story. Thought it might be untraditional, but a little more in alignment with her experience to write about feeling insecure or foiled in some way internally, but always finding your way back to a newness or an intimacy with that same person. So, I love it. It's great. I think it's the whole record is good. It's on the Anti label, which has a ton of other great artists as well. But Sonic Ranch, they're doing something right out there. So
I wanted to talk to you about Sonic Ranch because it's like in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's kind of like south of El Paso, right on the border of Mexico. And it's just like, it looks like, if you look at pictures of it, just looks like a building with nothing around it. It's like hardly, like, I don't know how they got electricity to the air conditioner kind of a thing, but the inside of it looks beautiful. It's so well put together, and you can tell that it's a real pro place.
So a little history on Sonic Ranch. It's the largest residential recording studio complex in the world. There's 5 studios on a 1,700-acre pecan orchard, which borders the Rio Grande in Mexico, 30 miles east of El Paso.
Oh, that doesn't come through in just like a singular images I was looking at. I guess there's 5 buildings. I just saw one little one. But
Yeah, there's 5 houses on the property
there's a
that
campus.
artists stay at. Yeah. And the studio was founded in 1989 by Tony Ranchich.
Did you say his name was Tony Ranch Dip? Is that what you said?
Rancich.
I was like, are you being serious? Like, did you call him Tony Ranch Dip? That's hilarious.
Dude, Tony Ranch Dip is awesome. That's
like
such a great name. I'm
Best
marking
fucking
it.
like wise guy name. Hey, it's Tony Ranch Dip.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's Tony Ranch Dip over there.
I want to start a studio. Let's call it Sonic Ranch. Hey!
That makes sense.
But yeah, like a ton of people have recorded there, so it's pretty rad.
That's awesome, man.
Well,
looks cool.
Yeah. So all of those songs are going to be linked in the Spotify playlist. Go listen to them in their entirety, please. And yeah, do yourself a favor. Go listen to those whole albums as well when you find the time, because they're all great. And I think that they represent some of the best music that we here at Six Picks heard this last year. So before we get out of here, let's reach into the old mailbag and see if anybody has sent any. And somebody surely has. Let's go ahead and take this one. It says, "What's up, you fuckers? Just wanted to say how much the Chill the F Out episode was a relatable culmination of wisdom and comedy between you 3. Content was largely identifiable for me. Also, following your clap episode, I have to confess my insatiable affinity for chili dogs, which becomes rabid every time I hear that fucker say, 'Sucking on a chili dog' in that Mellencamp song. Much love, Smitty." And my song rec for you guys tonight is Real Thing by Turnstile. So I saw them about 5 or 6 years ago. They opened up for Every Time I Die at this tiny venue called the Paper Tiger, San Antonio. Show was fucking nuts. They let the crowd run around on the stage with them their entire set, and I was just hooked. So go check it out. Well, thanks, Smitty. We'll play that one on our way out the door as we head on to the next ep. You guys take care of each other. Play it loud. Thanks, listener. Keep jamming. This episode of Six Picks Music Club was produced by Smoke Mapole. Edited by Stroke Mapole. With special thanks to Dixie Rect.